Day one of training camp. Nothing more to say, but let's get into this. What is up, Finn fans? Day one of training camp. Yesterday, the vets finally came. They made their appearance, and now today is day one of them hitting the ground running. So this is how it's going to work. For anyone that's new, anyone's new to subscribe. We're going to start with the Mike McDaniel presser. Then I got a few notes, essentially what's happening, and did we sign anyone, who's wearing the orange jerseys, who's injured, who's this, who's that. And then we go into on-the-field stuff. And then after that, we get into players' press conferences, and all that stuff. So I have some bad news in the notes, and we'll get to that. Kind of affects how I normally do my training camp videos. But let's just jump right into it and start with Mike McDaniel. He took a selfie with all of the beat writers, which I thought was really cool. He says he's very excited how players came back from camp. He said he could feel the energy. He said they fully understand how much they owe their teammates. And that's something I really, really like that he's established with this team, is it's not about you, right? It's team. He even said it in his presser, I think, before they left, that you got to put your team first. You can't be selfish. You got to put the team first. And that's what he's talking about. Stay in shape, do what you got to do, don't get in trouble, put the team first. And he even talks about that now. You owe the teammates, you owe your teammates. So I like that it's not a me mentality. Talks about Byron Jones and Raheem Mostert. He says he fully expects them to be ready for week one, to get ready. Not be ready, but to get ready for week one. But he won't rush any of them on the field, which is smart. Raheem Mostert was cleared to do his thing. Byron Jones is on the PUP. And again, like I said, PUP, physically unable to perform, he can come off it whenever he is physically able to perform. But he says he fully expects them to get ready for week one. So there's that. He asked about Armstead. He said a handful of veterans will be involved in some, but not all portions of the practice, which is expected, especially on the defense when it's the same exact defense. So you won't see X out there every single day. You probably won't see Emmanuel Ogbah out there every single day. Melvin Ingram, you know what I'm saying? What organically evolves around the team is not peer pressure, but pure accountability. Again, that team, the camaraderie, all that stuff, really building brothers in arms type situation, right? It's not let me be the best I could be, and then, it's hold everyone accountable. Hold everyone accountable. He says he wants full speed effort and intense every rep. There's no such thing as going through the motions. When we practice, we want to practice with intent. And he says that he wants it to be like that so that the opponents will notice it during the game days. Which, yeah, if you practice hard, you'll play hard, essentially. And if you want to make the team and you want to perform on the field, you got to practice hard. So practice with intent. His message to Tua is deliberate intent on each play. A quarterback's job is exhausting. He recognized that in OTAs and put time in the offseason. What I really want to see from him is to hold himself to a higher standard, and I don't want that to impede the next play. Practice short memory. And you notice that. I noticed that Tua beats himself up a lot, which is good. He's not the type that he's like, whatever, I don't care, like Jay Cutler when he was with us. But you saw it in his rookie year when he threw the interception on the goal line against the Patriots. He instantly, the next time he rushed in for a touchdown and came to the sideline. Instead of celebrating and thinking, oh, this is great, fantastic, he went to Fitz and he was like, was that ball security good? Should I have done this? Should I have done that? And Fitz was like, man, you scored. Who cares? He's very hard on himself. He said tremendous effort from Noah with Byron on the physically unable to perform list. More reps against Hill doesn't hurt anybody unless they have confidence issues. Iron sharpens iron. So having Noah Igbenogany covering Tyreek Hill is just going to make Noah better. Tyreek Hill is one of the fastest, he's just one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He's fast, he's got great route running, and he's physical at the line of scrimmage. To go up against him every day is just going to make you better. He says one thing he's learned about being a head coach is how he must trust others. No head coach is is able to have success without an immense amount of people you need. And I think that's why he built the training staff he built. That's why he brought in the coaches and the assistants that he did, because he trusts them, that he doesn't have to constantly harp on them to, hey, Welker, what's going on with the receivers? Hey, Applebaum, what's going on with the offensive line? Hey, he trusts them. He says, I don't decide the captains. He says, the point of a captain is to be a leader on the field for the other players. I appreciate democracy. Players are best ones to tell you who represent them. And that is very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see who the team votes as captains. And again, to reiterate, last year, the captain situation was completely different. Everyone wants to point out and harp on that Tua wasn't a captain. Neither was Mac Jones. Neither was another quarterback. Who cares? The way they ran their captain situation last year was you put your name in there. Why didn't X do it? Why didn't Byron do it? Why didn't Emmanuel Ogbah do it? Why didn't Christian Wilkins do it? There's a plethora of star power that was on this team last year that didn't do it. If you notice, the players that were captains were second stringers and special teamers, obviously the unsung heroes. They had a theme with their captains. But this year, like he said, he doesn't decide it. So the team's going to vote. And I will be genuinely shocked if Tua is not the captain. He said Armstead will practice, but be one of those guys who are limited to start camp. He says, we have a very young team. I believe at one point in the offseason, I read that we are 60% in year 3 or less, which more than half of their team has 3 or less years experience. He talks about signing Sanu. He said, wasn't about what the team needed, but rather the opportunity to add a veteran that has been with me now for his 3rd time. Again, kind of pointed on that and touched upon that in the video yesterday, that there's the familiarity with him and McDaniel probably can help. And it's he has a guy that he knows this playbook. Maybe he can help the other guys. And the last thing I'm going to talk about that he says is on Hill being outspoken. He says, if not the number one, he's probably right up there as the most competitive player I've ever been around. If Tyreek is saying it, it's because he believes it. As a coach, you really appreciate when teammates believe in each other. Tyreek believes in his quarterback, and that's a good thing. Of course. And I don't understand why people are getting all bent out of shape of him saying all these things about Tua. Regardless if you don't think it's true or not, like regardless if you're like, oh, Tyreek is this and Tyreek is that, who cares? It's not affecting you. And it's probably making Tua feel great that his number one receiver has his back like that. Now we're getting to the notes before I get to some on-the-field stuff. Now, they brought back Tino Ellis, cornerback. They re-signed him. Alec Ingold is rocking the orange jersey. And this is where I got the bad news. Now, normally when it comes to my training camp videos, I give you play-by-plays, right? We start with one-on-ones, and I tell you all the plays that happen on one-on-ones, 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, goal line, all that stuff. I tell you, it's 3rd down, they simulated this, drop back, pass to here. I tell you every little thing. Unfortunately, during the 18 practices open to the media, live tweeting by the media is only permitted during the 8 open to the fans. So they'll give us post-practice. So that's where I got all my news and notes of on-the-field stuff. After practice, they'll kind of tell us, who did what and the good plays and the bad plays and all that stuff. But live tweeting as it's going on isn't going to happen only for the 8 practices open to the people that are going. And I'm assuming the Tampa's open to the Tampa fans, so that will also be live tweeted. So I'll be able to give you guys play-by-play in that aspect. But unfortunately, this year it's going to be different for the other 10 practices where it's not as in-depth. Sucks, but I'm going to give you everything I got. So here's the on-field stuff. So several impressive throws from Tua. First play was a short pass to Hill with plenty of yards after catch. Then a deeper connection to Hill, Waddle, and Bowden in 7-on-7s. Short sideline throws to Hill and Gesicki. You'll have a video I'll pop up of one of those passes to Hill to the sideline. Just dumps it right in there. Right in the bucket. We'll watch it one more time. Right where it needs to be. Defender right in his hands. Catches it, gets both feet down. It's a great play by both Tua and Hill. Tua actually talks about that later on in his presser that I will get to, but it's just a great play. I'm hearing that Tua had a good day today, was making good throws. Bridgewater threw a pick, and that is going to be one of the players of the game. I think it was to Williams. Trill Williams, he threw a pick, but he had multiple good connections to Gesicki and one to Sanu. Skylar Thompson connected with Hill and Waddle, who caught several passes from multiple quarterbacks. So again, a lot of people, like I talked about in my preview video, you hear that Skylar Thompson threw passes to Hill and Waddle. You're like, Skylar Thompson is running with the ones? No. Both these receivers caught passes from all three quarterbacks. Christian Wilkins was a pest today. He was in the backfield a lot. One play, he was obviously held and still got to the ball carrier. That makes me so happy. Makes me happy in the aspect that video I showed you of him working out and him tearing through those dummies is paying off, but it also makes me sad because that means, again, there's no pads on, so I'm not going to take it that seriously, but Tyndall had an explosive play flying through the line for a would-be hit on the running back behind the line of scrimmage. Love hearing that, especially Tyndall doing his thing. Jalen Phillips with a would-be sack in the final period, blowing up a screenplay. He is flying off the ball. Love hearing that. Javon Holland nearly had a pick on Waddle and a pass breakup. Crossan had some nice plays on a run stop and a pass breakup on Bridgewater. And like I said, Trill Williams had the interception on Bridgewater. Tua faced heavy pressure his first 4 dropbacks. But other than that, I'm hearing it was decent. It wasn't too bad. He had time to make the assessments and do what he had to do. So I'm hearing Skylar Thompson was a little off on a couple of his passes. And this is what, as of right now, is considered the starting offensive line. Armstead, Eichenberg, Williams, Hunt, Jackson. So right now it seems like Liam Eichenberg is the left guard, Austin Jackson is the right tackle. And unfortunately, that's all I got for you when it comes to on the field stuff. Normally I have pages on pages on pages of stats and stuff. You'll get that Saturday, but right now it's just kind of that's all it is. And we got player press conferences. Raheem Mostert, real quick, just said he'll be ready for week 1. And it was lovely to be out there. I think he's really happy not to be on the physically unable to perform list. Teron Armstead talks about Tua. He says he's a leader, and we can help him, and he can help us. The protection has to be better, and it will, and he has weapons. And it's that yin and yang situation when it comes to the quarterback and the offensive line. You know, they can help him, but if he's holding the ball and he's staring down receivers and he has concrete feet, then it doesn't matter how long they can hold their blocks. They're going to get through, and he's going to get sacked. So it's like a yin and yang. But he says the protection has to be better, and it will, which love it. Absolutely love it. Then they talked to Xavier Howard, and they asked him about not being top 10/90 plus overall on Madden. And some people, if you notice, I didn't talk about the Madden ratings because they're dumb. The game is what it is, and it's all about popularity. Because if they really went off stats, Xavier Howard is top 5 corner in this league. He's not even a 90 plus. Like, it's so dumb. And he says, I'm used to the disrespect. They always disrespect the guys from Miami. It just adds more fuel to the fire. And then there was a tweet that was released. I don't remember who released it, that said that Noah picked off Tua. And he cleared it up. It wasn't a pick. It was a pass breakup. That's what Xavier Howard said. He said it wasn't a pick, it was a pass breakup. So no interception today from Tua. But there's a whole controversy where people are like, so-and-so said it was but even the guy who tweeted it out, I think it was Shad, Joe Shad tweeted out, he retweeted saying, correction, it wasn't a pick. Speaking of Tua, now we get to Tua's press conference. He essentially, on him being hard on himself, he says it's always been a trait. And I think for any competitor, that's the way we've grown to become a professional athlete. I think everyone is hard on themselves. And for me, I know my capabilities. And if I'm not playing up to it, it gets frustrating. And I love that. I love that he holds himself accountable. I love that he doesn't rest on his laurels. I love that he knows what he's capable of doing. So if he can't do it or if he doesn't do it, he gets mad at himself. And that's true. Everyone has that trait of, being hard on themselves and they want to be the best. Because if not, you don't want to be the best. You're not hard on yourself, then the NFL is not for you. He says this is about being the pressure that's on him. He says it's always there playing this position in the NFL. I think for every athlete, it's unadded pressure. We put the pressure on ourselves to compete every day, to be the best, to do the things the right way, and try to do the things right, do the right way consistently. Again, it goes back to what I said about, the hard on himself. He's talking about the 2022 team. He says he thinks everyone's excited, but one thing that shouldn't be lost is a lot of guys were working in the off season. He says he's not on social media, which he isn't. You barely ever see that man tweet anything, and if it is anything, it's charities that he's doing. But head coach had a presentation he was sharing with us yesterday, screenshot of everyone. It was dang near half the team was working out on their own, which was so cool. I made a video talking about all these guys working out on their own, and half the team. He talks about Tyreek Hill's support on him. He says it's cool. Tyreek Hill is someone who's established himself in the league. He says it's good to have his support, and I'm pretty sure he's appreciating that someone's going to bat for him publicly, because like last year we saw, Elena Roberts say something to him. We've seen guys kind of come up to him, and even on Instagram, comment on his photos when the whole Deshaun Watson situation happened. But Hill's like outspoken, so he's coming out to bat for him. Talks about being a captain. He says it comes with my position to always be a leader. For me, I've always said I'm not the one to get in front and scream and lead in that way. I try and lead in my actions and try and lead in a way that helps our team get better. There's all different types of people who are different types of captains, because Ndamukong Suh is the same type. And Ndamukong Suh is not the guy who's going to be like, let's go, we can do this, grabbing face masks and stuff. He's just going to lead by example. Listen, I'm going to tear through these double teams, and you're going to be like, God damn, look at that guy. I got to be like him. That's what Tua is. Tua's not going to, rah, this, and that, but you've seen it. I'll pop up videos of him scoring touchdowns, throwing good plays, and him like jumping on the sideline. Defensive plays, he's running down the sideline, jumping. So he leads by example. And then on the throw, so essentially I'll show it again. He talks about this throw. I'll show it one more time. And also they zoom in so you don't see the formations and stuff. I know a lot of us want them to zoom out so we can see the whole field and the formations and where the defenders are. They do that on purpose, so other teams don't see the formations and stuff, so they have to zoom in. He says, I think our throws are always dependent on the coverage. It was man. They tried to spin coverage. We spotted it. I knew Tyreek Hill was one-on-one on the outside. He made the play. The thing I hear the most, and one of the criticisms I hear, is that he can't read a defense. That statement there kind of shows me he knows how to read a defense. Again, he says, I think our plays depend on the coverage. It was man coverage. They tried to spin the coverage. We spotted it. I knew Tyreek Hill was one-on-one on the outside. He made the play. So essentially, he knew the coverage. It was man-to-man. They tried to spin the coverage on him. He knew the route that that Hill was running. And he knew he was going to be one-on-one. He put it where only Hill could get it. Hill caught it. Good catch. I don't know where that notion and where that understanding that he doesn't know how to read a defense comes from. If you think he doesn't know how to read a defense in the comment section, tell me where that came from. Like, just say, I don't think he knows how to read defense, and this is why. Let me know, because I really don't understand where that came from. And the final thing, he gets a little saucy on this one. On the criticism from analysts and sport and social media, he says, I don't know them. If that's what they have to say, good for them. It's probably a good thing for them to say, draw people in, clickbait. If I can't hear you, if you're not in my circle, it's not important to me. Yes, Tua. That's why he's not on social media, because it's nonsense. People make these clickbaity articles, these clickbaity titles and thumbnails, and just to draw people in. I don't do that. My titles are legit what I'm going to talk about. Every time. You can look at every title and every thumbnail I've ever made, and it's not about clickbaiting. If you want to know what I'm saying, that's what the title is. But people will make these, Jimmy Garoppolo going to Miami. Clickbait. 100% clickbait. Want you to click on the title, read it, and then they say, a source says it's a possibility because of the connection they have. But the title says that he's going to Miami. That's not what you're saying in the article. Clickbait. But overall, today, practice, good first day. Again, there's not much we can really get off of the fact that they're not doing play-by-plays for the 10 that are closed off to the public. But good day, Tua making, several impressive throws is what I'm reading. Bridgewater had that pick. Skylar Thompson struggling on a few passes, but he was still pretty good. Defense is doing its defense thing. I'm glad that Tyndall, Phillips, Holland, Crossan, Williams, and Wilkins had a good day today. It's good to hear. Good to hear. But comment below. Let me know what you guys think of the first day of camp. I will see you guys tomorrow with the second day of camp. It's going to be in the same type of format because, again, it's closed off to you guys, which means on the field stuff isn't going to be as in-depth, but I'm going to get it for you. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 2 of training camp. But like usual, stay classy and fins up.